Hi everyone, it's Debs here, Debs De Vries, on behalf of the Eden Room and all the awesome people here. I am so happy to be bringing this snippet to you from my treasury of midlife wisdom. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. I'll just tell you very briefly that I am part of the crew here that are on a mission to spread the very best practices that we can to help men and women make the absolute most out of their lives. I'm an alchemist, a shaman. I'm a professionally trained mentor, and for very, very many years worked in the field of personal and corporate development as well. So what I'm bringing to you is experience plus a lot of inside alchemical knowledge. What does that mean? Well, it's really about understanding, one level, how our whole mind and body work together and how we can use that knowledge to improve the quality of our lives. And isn't that what we do things for, really? To have a better feeling experience. So this snippet is all about sleep. Another of the things I hear an awful lot is, God, Debs, I could sleep for a week, but I cannot switch my brain off. And that can feel really threatening, actually, really overwhelming when you're constantly almost being driven by your to-do list or what happened list or what if I don't list. It's as though your head takes over. So I want to talk a little bit about headspace in that respect. If we think a lot of thoughts, we are using a part of our physiological system. And when we think a lot of thoughts that are action bound, our body is kind of programming itself to get ready for action. The difficulty is when we're constantly ahead of ourselves, I'll do that, and then at 4 o'clock I'll do that, and then we repeat it. The body is still here, right? It's not moving, it's not doing the thing. So we, if you like, are containing or using those stress hormones. And I don't use stress necessarily in a bad sense because those hormones get us active. But we're using them and they're not going anywhere. And they create a feedback loop internally. So the body then reads another part of the system and goes, oh, stress levels are still high, a lot of adrenaline here, a lot of cortisol here. And then it triggers a response in which we think those thoughts again almost inevitably. Oh, I haven't done this. Oh my God, I mustn't forget. That's just one thing that can cause us to be so wound up, literally by bedtime, that we are in the wrong part of our natural rhythms to drift off into natural, peaceful sleep. And there are other reasons that we don't sleep, and anything I think that you feel is clinical or medically related, you really need to get that checked out. But if you fall into the category of restless mind, then I've got a few ideas for you. I will add that as we come into our midlife passage around 44, 45 years of age, hormonal shifts can have us wakeful at times. And again, this is to do with very often the endocrine system. It's to do with our adrenals running too much. And that is part of what happens when we just don't stop. And then our brain just flies on ahead of us. So the problem is you haven't got enough time to do what you need to do. And the more you do, the more there is to do. You don't get headspace, particularly if you've got children. I mean, they go through one phase where they're always in your head. They don't know you're thinking, so they're talking all the time. Then you've got teens who don't speak to you very often, generally speaking. You've got other outside influences which are stressful to the body. Radio, television, alarms, other people's voices. When I say stressful, I mean your body has to process these signals. So there's a lot of bombardment goes on. You know, the mind is doing its best to sort out what you're thinking is the problem, whereas the body, if you like, is doing its best to deal with what the challenges are around it. And we get a big gap between the two. And it almost feels very commonly that when I've done these things, then I'll relax. I can't relax until I've seen this room tidy. I would, honestly, I would give a lot to have had a fiver for every time I've had that. If you're not in England, I'm talking about £5, probably about $8, 10 Australian. Okay, I understand it. I'm a pretty tidy little Virgo type, but it's bogus. It's about I can't relax until. And learning to relax, not necessarily to become catatonic, but learning to have relaxation in your body is going to help with sleep problems. Now, if you're watching this and there's a big festival coming up, it could be Christmas, Thanksgiving, it could be Diwali. There are so many things that, again, bring pressure in. There will be more to do. However, there are not more hours in the day. So some things will have to wait. You have to make some decisions. And one of the tips I have loved all my life is about prioritizing things. And we'll come on to, I'm going to show you a little diagram for that. So we have to learn to prioritize, and we have to also learn that the minute we start to get anxious and I'll do this and I'll do this and I'll do this, look, unless somebody's in danger or it really has become so urgent that something bad is going to happen, you can always sit and take 3 long, slow breaths. And I promise you that will seem quite hard in the moment, and that's the clue. So the first thing to do during the day is to pause. Even set yourself times when you get up and you go outside, because grounding, having your feet bare to the floor, actually helps your physical body to, should we say, settle itself. So even if it's 5 minutes and if it's raining, okay, it's going to be tough, but you could just stand outside the door, look at nature. I've got the windows wide open here. I'm, as part of my daily discipline, and I do quite a lot of work, but I intersperse it as best I can with getting outside or doing some yoga, or my best discipline is just to sit and breathe. Into the belly. You'll notice very often that you're not breathing from below here. So 3 big belly breaths. That's your first thing. When you can feel everything running away from you, I'll never get this done, I won't relax, you pause. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the Eisenhower quadrant. It's usually called that. As a trainer, I've always got a piece of paper handy. And I want you to just imagine that you've got a piece of paper like that. And what I want you to do is draw a line, top and bottom, join it up so it's a square, and then draw 2 more lines across inside. So you've got 4 quadrants. Now, this is something that is, well, Eisenhower was supposed to have started, so it's been around a while. In the top here, you've got to assign the tasks that are important and urgent. Right? Eisenhower said things are often urgent and we do them, and the things that are important we leave behind and then they become urgent. So if it's really important and urgent, you'll have to tend to it. The next thing to do is the important things. Right? That could be taking care of yourself. It could be a phone call to a friend. It could be getting a meal ready. And then you've got things that we tend to want to do, which are urgent but not important. Now, we'll each have our own ideas about what those are. For me, urgent but not important is, I don't know, sweeping the floor randomly when I actually should be doing something else. I feel there's an urgency. See, there's an urgency within me to get things tidy. And it's not important at all. That waits 2 or 3 hours, it doesn't matter. And then you've got not important and not urgent. And occasionally you're going to be here. But it's recognizing that and using this tool to help you think ahead through your day sometimes. You might even start quiet in the morning with 3 breaths and a list of things you want to do. And what you can't fit in, you can't fit in. So go back to another teacher of mine, which is the 3 Ds. It's either got to be done, it's got to be delegated, or it's got to be dumped. There are plenty of things in our life that actually, when we look back from 10 years, 1 year away, didn't need doing. So the first teaching really is about understanding that in your day, you have only got so much time, and the more you put onto that plate, particularly around holidays, the more impossible it's going to become, the more your mind will run away with you, the more sleep will become elusive. When it comes to questions of sleep, there are a couple of things to note. There are windows in your rhythm when it's easier to get to sleep. And one of them is just before 10 o'clock. It's not ideal for everybody, I know, but it is when a particular meridian kicks in and your body will be making the right hormones for sleep. Melatonin. Some people take melatonin. I'm not here to talk about supplementation, but I will say this. A couple of hours before bedtime, you need to be winding down, just like you do if you've got children. There's a little bit of retraining your body might need. So we sleep train children, we sleep train adults. You're going to start thinking about switching off the tech. You're going to start thinking about, read a book, write a letter, write your list of to-do things for the next day. That would be fantastic. Get it out of your head. I mean, there's an old tip about keeping a notebook by your bed. I think that's worthwhile. If you wake up and your mind's racing, you've got things to do, get them out. It's the getting them out and grounded onto a piece of paper that will calm your system. Then there's the bedroom. Now, I'm 100% advocate of no TV in the bedroom. I'll leave you to decide why I feel like that, or to do your own thing. I think there may be times when you want to watch a movie. I believe the bedroom should be a sacrosanct, quiet, ready to get into, snuggle into, and slip away kind of place. So dark is important. If your partner, if you have a partner, likes the light on and likes to read, you're going to need shades. You're going to need a nightshade on your eyes. And that weight, if you don't like that, you could get an eye bag, a yoga eye bag. Usually they're filled with something like flaxseed, just have lavender put on it. That weight can be really soothing. I've found, particularly during the hardest parts of my perimenopause, that just putting that on my eyes, nice and cool, really helped me to go back to sleep. A little bit of coolness in the bedroom, the body likes that. There is a practice where you actually get your feet cold in water for 3 or 4 minutes before you go to bed. Some people find that's helpful. I don't. I need warm feet. So you've got to look at these little nuances about what's right for you. Set the bedroom up so that it's calm, cool, tidy. You have the right bedding for you. If you're perspiring, sweating a lot at night, there are many great companies now providing the kind of bedding that's going to help keep you cool. There are special fabrics, special nighties. Contact me if you want to know, because I'm not here to talk about other brands, but I do know 2 or 3 people I really trust. Some people find weighted blankets or grounding blankets really helpful too. That is a good way to go if you feel that you're just jumpy. Some people like to spray essential oils. The classic one, of course, is lavender. And rose water is also a very nice one to have. Those act on your body chemistry, can bring about a state of calm. Calming yin types of yoga before bed, I find fabulous. You only need 10 or 15 minutes. Choose your favorite teacher on a video, put something warm on, do something yin. That means to use the passive side of your system, really, to calm things down. So 10 or 15 minutes yin, and who knows, if you've got young teens or a partner who's interested, it might be something you start to do together. It's really, really pleasant. So the bedroom needs to be ready, I would say, calm, tidy, cool, set up the way you like it. If you find that you wake and you lie there tossing and turning, the best advice is after 10 or 15 minutes, quietly get up. Don't do anything active in as much as electronics. I know that's hard, but it's worth it. That stuff is never ending, like the rest of life. Okay, you're the rider. If life was a horse, These are riding lessons. This stuff will keep coming. A horse will keep doing what it's going to do. We have to master it. So if you do get up, the best advice is to keep cozy, keep inward, keep quiet, and just sit in the chair and honestly watch your breath. Just watch with your eyes closed. You're pretending you're watching the breath coming in. You can feel it. And then you just let it go out. And if you do that, even for 5 minutes or more, that will bring your system back down to a rest and digest state. The other thing is about making sure that you're asking for space if you need it, a little bit of head space. You've got a quiet corner to go on your own, or you create one which is just yours, because particularly where there are children in the house, they're not the same on boundaries, are they? Until they get to a certain age and they're very definite about their boundaries. And I found it very useful to have my own space, that when I went in it, it was known that I wasn't going to be disturbed. I wouldn't be there for hours, and of course there are still things to do. School runs, food, shopping, dogs, the whole lot. But ultimately, carve out a place, no matter how small, that is yours. And maybe have a few of your things there, your eye bag, your mist. Perhaps there's an app that you use. Perhaps you're coming into the Eden room to get some of our beautiful meditations, some of our breath work. That's what I would do. So your sleep is incredibly important. As you know, it affects certain hormones that affect appetite. Leptin and ghrelin are produced. So we need to pay attention to that, because I've worked with people who don't sleep very much and they seem to be amazing. But ultimately, when they do get a chance to have a good sleep, they tell me they feel better. You can only go so far on a tired body, right? So if you want to go back over that just quickly, the first part of this teaching was about mindset, about recognizing what's important and urgent and what can wait, and being diligent, not wasting energy picking up little things, when actually, the old book, eat the frog first. The thing that's going to weigh on you energetically, if you can get that out of the way, very often your energy will pop up. Making sure that you're asking for a bit of space and that you're not loading too much on, that you are using the do it, delegate it, or dump it when things get too much. Once you've got some headspace carved, making sure that your run up to sleep time is calm, that you're setting the scene and a cue for your body. So your body, which is very trainable, will start to think, oh, yeah, I can relax now. I haven't got to deal with all this input, because that's what your body's doing. It's dealing with billions of bits of input, electromagnetic input all the time. And that places a stress on the central nervous system, particularly the sympathetic system. So it's about retraining the body back to the peace system, so that you can get beautiful, peaceful sleep. So I hope this has been really helpful. Such a big topic. Contact me, Debs De Vries, at the Eden Room. Come in and use all the gorgeous meditations, relaxations, and host of other juicy goodies that we have for you, that are bite-sized and can be built into the busiest of days. For now, sleep well. Bye-bye.